Hey guys, I'm filming this video for the second time, this time with the microphone actually on, so let's just try this one more time. The good news is I really know what I'm gonna say. I have all my thoughts together. I've rehearsed, I'm ready. Today's video is going to be a favorites revisited. I like to do these videos periodically just to go back, look back on some old favorites videos and let you guys know if the products that used to be favorites are still favorites today. If anybody knows whose original idea this was, let me know because I'd love to give them credit. I've seen a lot of people do these videos on YouTube. They're really fun and they're just a good way for me to kind of keep you guys updated on my favorite products, or at least the products that were once favorites. So today we're going to be going back on my January, February, March, and April favorites from 2019, so a year ago. The reason I'm doing all four is because I haven't done one of these in a while and I wanted to go ahead and catch up on all of those. I know it sounds like a lot, but I don't think it's going to be too overwhelming just because some of those months I only had a couple of beauty favorites and then the rest were kind of like lifestyle-y favorites. And I'm not going to be talking about those today just because I feel like the makeup is a little more interesting for these favorites revisited videos. So starting with my January 2019 favorites, there was a group of 4 products that I was really liking using together. It wasn't necessarily about the individual products, but it was kind of like a full base routine that I was loving at this time last year or in January. And it was the Paula's Choice Skin Balancing Invisible Finish Moisture Gel, which is kind of like a gel, like silicone-y feeling moisturizer. And I was using that more like a primer. The Urban Decay Naked Skin Foundation, the Milani Conceal and Perfect Shine Proof Powder, and the Pixi Glow Mist. The only one of these that I still have is the Pixi Glow Mist, and this is absolutely still a favorite. This is my favorite like glowy finishing mist, and I'm almost done with it. I will absolutely purchase it again once it's gone. Yeah, the other 3 products, I wouldn't necessarily say they're still favorites today because I didn't feel the need to repurchase any of them. And like I said, I didn't really like those products on their own that much. Like the Urban Decay Naked Skin Foundation was kind of like a satin matte foundation. I liked it, but not enough to repurchase it. Also, I think they're discontinuing that foundation now. The Milani Concealing Perfect Powder was very mattifying, and it wasn't really a favorite. I didn't love it enough to buy it again. And the Paula's Choice moisturizer I remember liking, but I just haven't felt the need to buy it again because it's like a $30 moisturizer. So there's my thoughts on those, but the Pixi Glow Mist is absolutely still a favorite. I love that mist so much. Another favorite, this is definitely still a favorite. This is the Makeup Geek Single Shadow in Voltage. This is like a duochrome whitish yellowy gold color. Still love this. Unfortunately, I think this has been discontinued because they did the whole rebrand thing. There may be an equivalent shade in the new rebrand, but I'm not sure. This is just such a brightening color. I really like it in the inner corner. I also discovered recently that I really like this in the center of my lid for a halo eye. I wore this along with the ColourPop single in Wait For It, which is a matte peach color, and those two together were so pretty. It's very reflective, really pretty, and it kind of makes a statement without being super loud and in your face, and I think that's why I like it so much. It's just a really fun shadow, even though it doesn't look like much in the pan, and it's very hard to translate that on camera too. When I swatch it on camera, it never does it justice. Another favorite last January, this was a couple months after I had bought this, was the e.l.f. Opposites Attract palette. I still really like this palette, but now I've acquired 2 more of the e.l.f. palettes, the Earth and Ocean and the New Classics, and I have to say, of those 3, this one has now become my least favorite just because of the color story. It definitely leans very dark and kind of bold for my skin tone, and so the color story just doesn't inspire me quite as much as the others just because it's all over the place. Like there's so much going on in here. You've got some peaches, some yellows, some browns, some purples, a green, like a taupe, a gray. There's just so much, which is great because there's a lot you can do with it. There's a lot of variety here, but at the same time when I look at it, it can be a bit overwhelming to me now. So I still really like it. I still recommend it if you are into this color story, but I would have to say I do like the Earth and Ocean and New Classics a little bit better. Another favorite that I had last January, unfortunately this brand lost their cruelty-free status a few months later. This is the Wet n Wild Mega Last lipstick in Violet's Kiss. It's the only purple lipstick I own, and I still like it. I've always said, and I mean I still agree, that these are like $2, and so they're a great way to try out some fun colors that you know you're probably not going to wear very often. You don't want to spend a lot of money on them because of that, but it's a good way to just sample some new fun colors that you may not already have in your collection. And so I still like this. It actually reminds me I should probably pull this out and use it sometime soon because I haven't worn it in a while. The only thing about the bright colors here though, I have this one in the hot pink, they really stain your lips, so that's the only thing. I wish Wet n Wild were still cruelty free because it's a great drugstore lip formula. And I do still like that color, it's very fun. Okay, this is funny. I was surprised actually to see this in an old favorites video. The Pixi Glow Tonic. I loved that product for the first couple weeks that I used it. It made such a difference in my skin. It really evened it out. It made my skin so like bright and just healthy looking. And then after a couple weeks, my skin just went back to the way it was before. I think it's probably just because the glycolic acid is kind of a low percentage. That must be why it didn't make a huge difference like long term. So it didn't end up being a long time favorite, also because it has fragrance in it. Most Pixi skincare products have fragrance, which is really disappointing. I wish they'd just leave it out. In the past few months, I've been phasing out fragrance in my skincare routine and my skin has really thanked me for it. It's made a huge difference. So that is no longer a favorite product, but I know a lot of people love it. I will say I think that the Derma E Radiance Toner with glycolic acid actually did more for my skin like long term than the Pixi Glow Mist or Glow Tonic, sorry. But that one also has fragrance. So once again, not one that's gonna be a favorite for me, but if the Pixi Glow Tonic like didn't quite do it for you, you may wanna try the Derma E one if fragrance isn't an issue for you because it was nice and it's a better value too. And then the last favorite I had in January was the Derma E Rosehip and Almond Hand and Cuticle Cream. I remember using that up, I really liked it. It had a very nice mild scent to it, but I didn't end up repurchasing it. I'm not that particular about hand creams. Right now I'm using the Andalou Naturals. It's like a coconut and lime hand cream. I really like that one too. It's very buttery. So, you know, who knows? I might repurchase the Derma E one someday, but it hasn't become like a lifelong favorite, I guess. Moving on to February of 2019. So another Wet n Wild favorite was their Ombre Blush in a Purple Haze. I remember really liking that. It was like a cool toned pinky purpley blush. And I ended up decluttering it when Wet n Wild lost their cruelty-free status because it still hadn't been used a ton and it was still in good enough condition that I was able to donate it to Project Beauty Share, so I didn't end up holding onto it, but it was a really nice, very subtle blush. I remember though it was very, very light in color, so it would probably only work for a very fair skin tone, that shade. Another one that was a favorite last year, and it's no longer a favorite unfortunately, were the Crazy Rumors Lip Balms. I had just bought like a 4-pack of them a little bit before this favorites video, I guess. The only one I have left is the Peppermint Twist one. This one, I actually made it almost all the way through and I realized that I think I developed a sensitivity to the peppermint in here. Peppermint can be very irritating to lips. A lot of lip balms have it in there, but obviously the Peppermint Twist has peppermint in it. They make a lot of flavors though that don't have peppermint in them. But this one, I used this once like a couple weeks ago and it practically burned my lips. Like it makes them super irritated and almost like raw. It's pretty painful. So I can't use this anymore, sadly. I'll probably just have to declutter it. I made it almost all the way through and I think my lips are just done with peppermint in lip balms now. So I'm gonna keep an eye out for that in the future with lip balms. But even the ones that don't have peppermint though, like I just finished up the pumpkin spice one that was in my last empties video. That one too, it didn't irritate my lips, but it also didn't really do that much for them. I felt like after a while they just stopped really doing anything for my lips. Like I would just reapply them all day and then they didn't really do anything. So unfortunately no longer a favorite. They're really nice and affordable. They have a lot of fun flavors, but I think I've kind of outgrown them. Okay, another favorite from last February, which this reminds me that I need to pull this out for my next Shop My Stash rotation, and don't let me forget to do that because this is such a beautiful single eyeshadow. This is the Terre Mineral Eyeshadow in Bronze Moonstone. And this poor eyeshadow always gets forgotten, and it's probably one of my favorite eyeshadow shades that I own. It's a beautiful shimmery lavendery taupe color, beautiful for a one shadow look. I think it's because it's a loose powder and a single that I don't reach for it super often, but I have to use this soon because it's so beautiful. So don't let me forget to put that in my next Shop My Stash, which should be coming soon, by the way. So those were all of the February favorites. Now moving on to March. This must have been around the time that I discovered the Flower Lash Warrior mascara, which has been a favorite ever since. You probably know that if you've been watching my channel for a little while. I love this mascara. I still have it. This is actually my second tube of it that I've owned. I bought it, actually it was on sale at Walmart a while ago, like back when we could still go into stores. I got it on sale for like $4.50, which was such a good deal. I had to grab it then because it's usually around $10. Side note, I feel like flour seems to be getting taken out of Walmart now, at least my Walmart. The last few times I've gone, there's been like very few flour products left and they're like all marked down. So does anybody know what's going on there? I also feel like they're getting harder to find on Ulta's website too. So I really hope they're not like discontinuing the line or taking them out of stores. I don't know. But anyway, this is a wonderful mascara. You've heard me talk about it so many times, but great rubber bristle brush. The brush is kind of big though, so if you don't like a big, like spiky rubber bristle brush, this probably wouldn't be for you, but it's very lengthening, very volumizing, very separating. It does it all. Blah, blah, blah. You've heard me say it a million times. The only thing is, since then, I also discovered the e.l.f. Keep Your Curl mascara, which is like half the price when this is full price. The e.l.f. one is like $5. So that's probably going to be my go-to, unless whenever I do find this on a really good sale, I would pick it up again. But the e.l.f. Keep Your Curl is similar, but it actually has a slightly smaller brush. So I feel like that one is just a little bit easier to work with and it's cheaper. So, but this continues to be one of my top drugstore mascara recommendations. It is a really great mascara. Another Flower product, ooh. Flower's a great brand. I would really like to try more from Flower Beauty, but this is their blush balm in Pinched, which is a peachy color. So many people rave about these blush balms. They're so good. I feel like even if you don't normally like cream or liquid blushes, you would still like this one. I've heard a lot of people say that they don't normally like cream blushes, but these work really well for them. It's very user-friendly. It's a nice, like, very, I don't know, there's something satisfying about this squeeze tube, something about this nice long nozzle, if you will. Is that what you would call that? It's sort of like a gel type of feel, and it just blends out really easily. I usually blend it out with my fingers or a sponge or a brush, just whatever you want will probably work. And I still love it, still a favorite. I do find myself reaching for powders more often these days. I don't know why. I go back and forth, but usually powders I use more than creams. Another cream product, I think this was around the time last year that I was really getting into cream products. The Ulta Beauty Face Highlighting Color Stick in Pixie Dust. So I think they discontinued this because anytime I've looked for it online, I can't find it. I think this came in like one of their little gift with purchase pouches that they give out a lot of the time when you buy a certain amount of Ulta products. And it makes me sad. They always seem to put products in there that are getting discontinued, which is disappointing because, you know, what if I want to recommend them to you guys? Or what if it's a product I fall in love with and then I can't buy it again? Just makes no sense to me. But anyway, that's enough about that. It almost looks like it would be too dark for my skin tone. Like it's almost a dusty pink highlighter, but it looks so pretty and natural on my skin. Like it just makes my skin look very healthy and dewy. And I just really like it. I also haven't used this in a while, which reminds me I need to put this in my next Shop My Stash rotation as well. These two are definitely going in there. Another highlight that was a favorite last March was the Physicians Formula Shimmer Strips Natural Nude Highlighter. They say it's for face and eyes. Of course you can use it as an eyeshadow. I use it as a highlighter more often though. And the reason why I was saying I really liked this was because you can really kind of customize what shade you're getting just because it has a lot of different shades in here. And I still like it, but I feel like there are certain little shimmer squares in here that I gravitate towards more, especially like this dusty pink and these light pinks, and others that I don't. Like these two are almost too frosty, and then these down here are way too dark for my skin tone. So yeah, so I'm kind of thinking like, what am I gonna do with these darker shades? Also, by the way, Physicians Formula also is no longer cruelty free. Very upsetting, very sad. But I feel like the last few times I've used this, I've ended up with almost like too frosty of a look. Probably because I'm dipping into these lighter shades too much, but I do feel like lately I'm having a harder time getting like a consistent look between both cheeks, if that makes sense. So, I don't know. It may even be something that I declutter because I'll have to think about it, but at least thinking about those dark shades, I don't know what to do with those. I don't really want to use them as eyeshadow because I have plenty of eyeshadow already in my collection that I'd like to use. So, okay, another favorite from last March. This is the Acure Dry Shampoo. I remember buying this at Vegan Haven in Seattle, which is like an all-vegan grocery store in the U District. Memories. But I ended up getting the one for brunette to dark hair. I've also gotten the regular one in the past, but I just want to show you. You think it's going to be like an actual dark color that's going to match the dark brown hair or something. That's the color. I think they put a little bit of cocoa powder in there to make it not quite as much of like a stark white color, but it's still a very light color, so don't be fooled. I mean, it works fine on my hair color. I obviously don't even have brown hair, so it doesn't really matter too much to me, but I did just want to point that out. I don't love this as much as I used to. I think I just prefer like spray on hair products. Obviously this is going to be a lot more environmentally friendly than like an aerosol can. I don't find myself using it that often because it's just annoying. It's got this shaker top and I usually just shake it into my hand and then work it into my hair, and it works fine that way, but I just don't end up using it because I don't enjoy applying it. And then my hands are all powdery, I have to wash them. I don't think it's a favorite anymore really, but it still does the job, and if you don't mind that application style, it's not bad. Moving on to April, there's only a couple in April. This favorites video from last April was actually the one where I introduced Heidi for the first time on my channel. Her gotcha day is coming up on Earth Day, April 22nd. That was the day I got her. And so I can't believe that was already a year ago. Last April I had a lot of lifestyle favorites and then only like 2 beauty favorites. So I'll just talk about the beauty favorites. First one was the CoverGirl Ultra Fine Brow Pencil in Soft Blonde. I really liked that brow pencil. I'm sure I still would if I still had it, but I decided to switch to a brow pomade because I was just going through brow pencils so quickly. That CoverGirl one especially, I think I would go through like every 6 weeks. And so I think I went through like 3 of them. But last year I came to the realization that I had gone through so many plastic brow pencils that I wanted to try to find something a little bit more environmentally friendly, and so I ended up getting the ABH Dip Brow Pomade, and I have barely even made a dent in that pomade, and I've had it for like 4 months now, so definitely a little more cost effective. But if you like a brow pencil, that CoverGirl one is really nice. It's probably my favorite drugstore brow pencil that I found from all the brow pencils I tried over the years. And then finally, the last favorite was the Ulta Beauty Hydrating Face Primer. I have a mini of this, and back then I had a mini too, and I actually ended up having to throw that away because it's a long story, but Heidi peed on it once. It was in like a bin that looked like a litter box. It's a long story, okay? So I threw that one away, but I actually have another one now because it came in another little gift with purchase from Ulta. This is a really nice hydrating face primer. I actually haven't opened this one yet because I've been working through some other face primers, and I have quite a few different like hydrating primers in my collection, but this is definitely a hydrating primer, not a glowy primer. Like there's no shimmer or glowy particles in here. It's just like a nice sort of gel moisturizer. It feels really nice and just kind of satisfying to apply. And so I definitely still like it. I need to pull it out soon and actually use it. But I've heard people say that this sounds like it would be similar to the Too Faced Hangover primer, which I haven't tried that one, but from what I've heard it does sound quite similar. So if you're looking for a good drugstore priced hydrating primer, I definitely do recommend this one. It does smell like coconut though, because it has coconut stuff in it. Coconut water, I think. So those are all of my favorites revisited from the first 4 months of 2019. So now you're all caught up on my thoughts on all these products. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, definitely give it a thumbs up so I know that you liked it, and I can definitely keep doing these in the future. And otherwise, subscribe if you haven't already. I upload every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, sometimes even Sunday. All kinds of videos about cruelty-free beauty, so if you'd like to keep hanging out, I'd love to see you again very soon, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.